My 15 years of research in India tracks women's close relationship to poverty, water security, and their economic development opportunities. Existing research glosses over gendered, racialized, and class socioeconomic forces that mark watershed development. To address this gap, I work extensively with women in India's informal settlement or slum communities to analyze how the women are powerful agents in their own watersheds in their developing economies. My research highlights how women contribute critical yet invisible environmental labor to facilitate urban sustainability. So from the WLP funding, every penny or every paisa of the budget will be spent within the community in support of empowering women in exchange for critical data about women's economic resilience among the working poor. This project systematically integrates economically vulnerable women at every single stage of it. So beyond empowering the women of Delhi's working poor, WLP funds enable my collection of ephemeral data that would otherwise go undocumented. The results of this research will develop a scalable blueprint for how this local case can be replicated in other sites. It's through programs like this that we realize that we can champion one another towards solidarity and an inclusive future led by women and visionary in gender equity. That's why I'm so grateful for opportunities like this WLP research program that allows me to not only practice my science with my voice that I feel champion the needs of female scientists in the future, but to immediately start training and including them right away.
So in the United States, we know that African American moms are 2 to 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy complication or to suffer a severe maternal morbidity. A lot of the work that I do focuses primarily on the moms that suffer the greatest burden of disproportionate outcomes. So I've been fortunate enough over the last 7 or so years to connect with a community-based organization named Reach Up that has allowed me to come alongside them and do this work. And what we really want to focus on is improving community capacity and really looking for innovative and creative ways to intervene with these disparities. This grant would allow me to not only expand the current research, but to add additional components to it. So the current project is more of a service delivery project. So we really want to be able to provide services to a minimum of 500 moms and a minimum of 200 support persons. So with the additional NIH funding, we'll be able to integrate a research component that was not previously there. And the research component that I'm looking into is whether or not the support systems really have a biological or physiological influence on moms. The WLP award means so much to me. In the College of Public Health, we like to say that our practice is our passion. And for me, I do the work that I do because I'm passionate about it. I do it because I love it. And it's such an honor to be recognized for the work that I would do no matter what. But to have the WLP recognize and support this work, it means a lot. I'm very honored.
My study is on the social and emotional learning of Black girls in kindergarten through 12th grade in the public schools and how that relates to their achievement overall. Black girls are 12 times more likely to be suspended from school from Latinas and white girls. In addition, Black girls are 31% more likely to be arrested in the public schools and 43% more likely to have interaction with the police while in the public schools. And so this Women in Leadership and Philanthropy grant will allow me to further analyze the data and to have assistance in looking at specifically the well-being of the Black girls that attended the after-school program. And I so appreciate being able to do so. And I am also grateful for the recognition of my research on Black girls' social and emotional learning and the impact that the lack thereof has on their overall achievement in the public schools. As a Black woman, as a mother of a young Black teenager, And as a former teacher of many Black girls in the public school system, I want to say to them that you matter, your voice matters, and we understand the complexity of what it means to be a Black girl in today's school system and in society. We're here, and with this research, hopefully, and with the data, help is on the way.
Human trafficking is probably one of the most vexing problems facing the Tampa Bay area. And although there's been a lot of attention, media attention, public concern about human trafficking, there's a vacuum of information regarding this crime, its victims, perpetrator tactics, and how to protect women and girls from this type of exploitation. There's a specific research gap that we're going to use this award for, and specifically it's around the phenomena of trauma bonding and human trafficking. What happens with trauma bonding is it prevents girls and women from escaping exploitive situations and keeps them in kind of this toxic cycle of repeat victimization. And so this award will go toward development of a measure of trauma bonding, which will help clinicians and social service providers to identify trauma bonding, to measure it, to treat it, and then to, if you have something to measure, you can then see if your treatment's effective or not. As you can imagine, researching human trafficking can be kind of a dark topic, and so knowing that we have support of others around us is invaluable.
For the past 10 years, our research has focused on understanding ovarian cancer risk in women, specifically the contribution of iron to the transformative responses and precursor lesions that undergo or support the development to ovarian cancer. So specifically, thus far, we have performed work to study fallopian tube secretory epithelial cells, as well as cells from the endometriotic lesions in response to the iron. Endometriosis specifically is a benign gynecological disease in which the women are suffering from a major pelvic pain, and they also suffer from other comorbidities including infertility and are at an increased risk of developing ovarian cancer, specifically the rare subtypes such as endometrioid and clear cell ovarian cancer. So with the WLP award, that will certainly enable us to pursue grant mechanisms such as to the National Cancer Institute towards their R1-like mechanism and to the Department of Defense towards their ovarian cancer research program. I would like to sincerely thank Dr. Kathleen Moore, Faculty Excellence Award Program, in recognizing our research and providing us with an opportunity to continue our work on ovarian cancer.
My project all started last year when a friend of mine was approached by one of his friends who is a white woman who wanted to have a conversation with a Black woman. What was supposed to only be a 30-minute conversation turned into an hour and a half. And before it started, I had an idea that it might be something really good, so I asked if I could record it. And what we did, we were all wearing hats, so we were hatting and chatting. And the response to that video was incredible. So many people were like, this is amazing, this is so necessary. And so that, because I love film, I was like, I want to do a documentary about violent politeness and how it affects the relationship between Black women and white women in particular. Because even though we have this, we are woman, we're all one, there's been a divide, there's been this thing between these particular groups of women for centuries, dating back from slavery. She was looking inward, which is really amazing, which is what we all need to do. And so that really set the tone for the entire conversation. First, I want to say thank you so much. Like, I don't even know if I'm able to really verbalize how much this means to me, because the project is so important. Like, I'm just grateful